Hey guys, I'm Malkoof 1974 coming back at you with another episode of International Civilian Space Program. This should be episode 4. Today we're going to be launching a space station core into space and also a GPS satellite. We got another mission to run to make some profits for the program. We're going over some of the readouts for this, and we can tell that this is quite an expensive core, but I actually made the core come in below cost at 150,000 carbon credits, which is actually pretty good. We'll get this thing up in space, get her going, but if you can tell, it's got a few fuel tanks on it. And the thing about this launcher is that it actually does not have enough delta V to get into space, so I'll have to do some maneuvering here and use some of the actual core's fuel and do some transferring when we get a little bit higher into orbit. If anybody's wondering, I still need parts for the space station. I'm just launching the core, just to get me something up in space where I can launch spacecraft from and stuff like that, and have a little bit of a fuel source up there, but it still needs a dedicated fuel tank on it to keep us going. And well, if you guys want to come up with something, go right ahead and I'll try to put it in there to make it go good. I always knew that when this program first started off that it wouldn't take off, with people giving stuff right off the bat, but I do have a few other craft files that we'll be doing in the next mission, so that'll be awesome. Returning back to the moon after we get this thing in space. So let's take a look here. We got, yeah, we're getting up there. We're doing all right. Trying to keep it. It is a little bit wobbly, as you can tell. I'm trying to keep it on a pretty good plane because I do want it on an equatorial orbit. You can see how it's always wobbly there. What I probably should have done is I probably should have run some struts down on there. Probably would have fixed it up. And as you know, the more wobbly your vessel is, the actually more delta V you use, I do believe. And we can see here that I am actually transferring the fuel to keep this thing the ability to get into space. That little part down there where you see the arms connecting, that actually disconnects from the station once it is in a stable orbit, and it will be deorbited and done. It has basically a lifespan of probably one orbit before it runs out of power, so we got to deorbit it as soon as possible. I'm pretty sure that I used up that whole top stack of fuel to get this thing in space, so it's pretty sucky that we could actually have to launch another mission to put fuel in this at some point, but right now there should be plenty in there. I'm going to bring this up to about 100 meters. Oh, went over a little bit. Screw it. Might as well bring it to 110 then. Okay, there we go. So there we go. We have atmosphere. We're out of the atmosphere, and we need to circularize our orbit. And it looks like it's not going to cost us all that much delta V, so that's always good. So maybe I'll be able to put some of that fuel back. And we're just going to wait here for a little bit. So if you guys are wondering, one of the crafts I have that I'll be using next episode is a new lander with rover support. So it's pretty cool. I'll go over where I got that craft from. Right now I'm kind of just looking around on the forum, see if there's a craft that fit my needs, and then I'll ask the Arthur if he minds if I use it in the program. On this particular craft he said it was fine, so we'll go over the craft files and everything else later. I'm also going to put the craft files for my vehicles that I make available to you guys later. I don't know how I'm going to make it available yet. I'm trying to work on a website to make it available, but yeah, we'll see. At this point I'm just transferring some fuel back into the space station because we really don't need all that much fuel to deorbit this thing. Let's see. Yep, I'm just testing everything. I'm going to decouple the node here. That is a docking port right there, one of the new docking ports introduced in 0.20. Now we're going to get this put away. And there it is. There's the space station. That's actually just the core. It's got some living housing, 2 of them, well, actually 3 of them, some lights. I do like the B9 aerospace, the little red lights there, so I have been putting them on my space station quite a bit. And there we go. There's the power for the space station. Of course, there's no Kerbals on this yet because it's not quite ready for manned missions yet. And we're gonna name it the International Space Station. Civilian Space Station. There we go. That's much better. Now we need to deorbit this vessel. Go get into some retrograde here. There we go. If we can get this over. And you know what good is an episode if we don't see some nice burning up of some spacecraft going back into the atmosphere. Get this going. Of course, this video is actually sped up. I don't have it quite full, but it is a lot faster than you would actually see in game. So just to shrink it down, I believe this one segment used to be 16 minutes, and I shrunk it down to 8 minutes. I use Sunny Vegas to edit all my videos, so I don't know the actual what speed I'm speeding it up at, but I cut it from 16 to 8, so basically cut it in half. Same with the next segment, I cut it in half too, just to keep everything going good. And there goes our crafts burning up into the atmosphere. There we go. We'll just get out of here. Or not. Oh, I'll just fast forward it. In game too, while we're here, before we can just smash it into the ground. Unfortunately, it's a waste of spacecraft, but by the rules, the spacecraft is destroyed because it would never actually survive that. So, mission 6 is a success. As we saw, the total cost of this vessel was, should be popping up here in a second. It's 198,228 Kerbal Dollars, which came in very much under budget of the 250,000 that I had budgeted for it. So, which will actually leave us room for this year to put some more stuff in to space, especially the moon. We need to work on our moon situation. We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so the GPS satellite. And there she is. The package is on the top, as you can tell. GPS, it looks like a box. It's got a bunch of different things on it. And the antenna is up there on the top. Basically point that at Kerbin and launch the antennas, and you have GPS positioning. Of course, this is only one satellite. The US GPS system, or the GPS system that everybody now uses pretty much across the world, actually has 24 satellites. Didn't know. I'm doing something a little special with this. I am not going to launch this one in an equatorial orbit. I want to put this one into a polar orbit, and then if I get a second launch, I will put a second one into an equatorial orbit. I believe the actual GPS system over Earth has 6 different inclinations. Of course, you got the equatorial, the polar, and then you got some in between. Total of 24 GPS systems for all your cool little things going on. I didn't know if you guys know this, but a little trivia for you. Did you know why the US allowed GPS to become available to civilians? Well, I didn't know this, but when I was looking up what GPS satellites actually looked like, I was very curious as to, because they look just like I had pictured there. They look like a nice little box, but I guess in 1983, I think it was, or was it 1982? I don't remember. But a Soviet aircraft shot down a civilian airline. Has killed like 260 people, and then President Reagan of the United States decided that the GPS system, which wasn't yet operational, he decided that he was going to make that available to civilians for mistakes like that when it happened. The Soviets said that the aircraft violated their airspace, and people believe that the aircraft actually had a malfunction in its navigation system. Of course, then they didn't have a GPS to guide them everywhere. So yeah, that's pretty much. And then I think in the 1990s, when the GPS finally became finalized, President Bill Clinton actually made it official that GPS was a two system thing where civilian and military could use it. And then of course when things escalated from there, and the European Union got involved and all this other stuff. So yeah, GPS has quite an interesting history. If you guys were wondering, I believe its first implementation was just for military, and then of course as it became known that it would actually work well with to help civilians with their navigation. Of course, it's not too many places that would probably shoot down civilian airliners anymore in this today's world. Let's see, maybe North Korea. I don't even think China would, but yeah, so that's the history of the GPS. I mean, that's the history of why we as people can use the GPS system other than just the military. And of course, they're still launching they just launched one back in May, another one to replace them. They keep replacing them. They make them better, they make them more interesting. I think they've been launching one a year since 2010 or 2009, 2010. I know there's another one planned for 2014, and I believe it's a newer version, a newer block version, like block 3A or something like that. I think right now they're using block 2Js. I can't remember the actual all the details of it. But okay, so basically I want to get this GPS up to about 1,000. Of course, the farther away you have a GPS system from the planet, the less GPS systems you need to actually make the system work, because you actually have a line of sight, which works. I believe in Kerbal, there's actually a mod out there that adds GPS to the Kerbal Space Program, and I believe I read his forum page, and he says that the actual height for Kerbal, the optimal, that would be equivalent with the Earth version, would be about 1,400 meters. I'm just putting at 1,000 meters right now to get this going. So yeah, sorry about the background. The woman's talking to her friends on the phone, and like I said, this is summertime and it's harder for me to get private time, and I gotta just do videos when I can because it's so busy and everything's going on. I'm actually lucky I can even do videos, so yeah, we'll consider ourselves lucky. So we need to circularize this orbit, and right now the actual satellite is its own power, running off its own power. It's got its own engine. The reason I didn't want to go to 1,400 was because I didn't want to use up all the fuel in the satellite, so not a big deal. As for gameplay value, this is just a mission. By the way, this mission actually pays 75,000 Kerbal Dollars to actually pay us. The vessel itself ended up costing at least, I think it was 35 or 39,000. I'm not quite sure about that, but it works, so we're not going to get too involved in it. I do like the looks of this GPS satellite, and I have this fascination with the B9 red lights, because it just makes it gives it that red glow. I actually wish there was a few more colors like yellow and blue and all that nice stuff. This GPS satellite actually does have a docking port on it for maybe future missions where it would have to be repaired. Maybe a vessel could dock with it. You can get a couple Kerbals to come out and fix it and do whatever they need to. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And of course, again, I will make this satellite available to people if they so wish in a craft file. With the launcher, you guys can replace the launcher. I'm pretty sure it's not all that. I'm trying to make the launchers not optimal for you guys can come up with a more optimal design, because if I make the most optimal design, then why would I want to take the other people's stuff, you know? So yeah, I'm not designing these with all that great stuff. So there you go. Mission 7, launch GPS satellite above 1,000 meters, is finally complete, and it is another successful mission for the International Civilian Space Program. Mission cost totally with fuel is 45,494 Kerbal Dollars, and the mission payout is 75,000. And we'll have a little bit more of a breakdown of the missions at the end. But let's get some lights on this thing. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the lights on in a second. There we go. There we go. That beautiful red glow I love. Not quite sure. And of course now I'm pointing the antennae at Kerbal, and we're gonna officially turn on this GPS unit. Here we go. Push my action key, and there they go. GPS satellite is now active. Of course, it has no absolute use, because in reality you actually need many more GPSs to actually get a positioning. So anyways, here's our current budget breakdown. Our current budget right now after this mission is 308,162. We still have plenty of money for the next mission. Total mission costs to date have been 796,000. So as you guys know, this is Malkuth 1974. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Malkuth out.